Welcome to another dojo topic. We usually meet on Tuesdays for an hour, and today we met for 2.5 hours. This topic today on manifesting prosperity with the art of forgiveness was, oh my gosh, so off the charts. And I probably say that every week, but we really do have these amazing, amazing conversations around these dojo topics. So with that, I would like to share the presentation that we talked about today to give you some insight into the conversation and see where this might land for you. So with that, I'm going to share my screen with you and share exactly what we talked about today uh, for our discussion on manifesting prosperity through the art of forgiveness. Again, this is a dojo topic. We meet every Tuesday virtually. You're welcome to join us. And if you're unable to join us live for the actual conversation that we have in our group, please do enjoy these weekly videos that I share so that you can still be part of what it is that we're talking about and how we are manifesting collectively as a group. And today's topic again is on manifesting prosperity through the art of forgiveness. Now, last week we talked about the field of possibilities. And if you're not really familiar with what that is, basically it's like anything that we think about, anything that we wish upon someone else, anything that we are hoping for ourselves, we are putting that into the field of possibilities and then bringing that back to us. But how we're bringing it back to us now, that's a different thing. So if you missed that video, I will put the video a little, you'll be able to just check that out at the end of this video. So if you want to check that out, I'll make that available to you. But for today, let's get started with the topic for today about manifesting prosperity with the art of forgiveness. Okay, so we're talking forgiveness. Gosh, first of all, just stop and ask yourself, like, what definition comes up for you when you think about the word forgiveness? And I will tell you that for the longest time, being raised with the religious dogma that I was raised with, my understanding of forgiveness was that passage that used to come into my mind all the time is vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And so when I thought about forgiveness, that verse would come into my mind all the time. And I thought, okay, these people are doing really awful things to me. And why should I forgive this person? Why should there just be this God in the sky that is going to decide if this person needs to be punished for what they are doing to me? And so it just seemed like forgiveness was never the answer. And maybe, like me, this topic will kind of dispel some of that for you, or whatever your definition of forgiveness is. Maybe it will be defined a little bit better for you today, or a little more succinctly for you today. But for me, forgiveness is kind of like a reset button. When I truly am able to forgive someone or something or some experience, it's like pushing the reset button and saying, okay, I'm so tired of dealing with this. I just want to give it up to this higher power and not have to deal with it anymore. I don't want this to be my responsibility. So that's what it does for me, and it's always been really, really powerful. Forgiveness allows you to stop living in the past. What choices have you made in the past that you currently regret? Do you ever think about that? Like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Um, for years and years and years and years and years, I heard my mother say, what did I know? I was young and dumb and a child just off the farm. I didn't know any better. And I've heard my mom say those words over and over and over. So I've heard her judge herself about choices she made, about the person she married, the life that she lived with the man she made a life with, who was my father. And so, there was a lot of guilt, a lot of shame for her around that. So when we're holding on to the past, we are making that our now, and that's what we're creating our future with. So when we're creating our future from our past, we're just going to keep getting the same thing that we've always gotten. And that's that, we've all heard that saying from Einstein. If you keep thinking, if you keep doing what you've always been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. Well, it's the same thing. So that's how we create our future from our past. And those regrets, they're holding you back. You made a choice. And if it's something you prefer not to have, simply make another choice, not to do it again. Just say, you know what? Yeah, I made that choice. Okay, I own it. This is what happened. This was the fallout, or this was, the wonderful stuff that happened because of that choice. And, but if I had it to do all over again, I wouldn't do it again. And know that you're being guided in the most divine way. When you think that this way, instead of beating yourself up over a choice that you made, just own it. Because when you resist it, that's when you're unable to forgive yourself. When you resist it, you're holding on to that energy. So instead of beating yourself up for the choice you made, forgive yourself for judging your decision. Instead, stop, celebrate your ability to have free will. This is how you can create from a powerful state of being instead of a primal state of being. Remember, our state of being is how we feel in any given moment. So if you're in a primal state of being, which is that fight, flight, or freeze mode, you're more likely to manifest something unwanted into your life instead of the mental, physical, financial, or spiritual prosperity that you really desire. So we talk about cleansing our bodies and our skin. We hear that all the time. There's all kinds of ads about that, but very little is said about cleansing our minds. And when we cleanse our mind, which is doing the inner work, we cleanse our minds for prosperity. We make room for prosperity. And we can do this by practicing the art of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the emotional side of prosperity. I'm going to say that again. Forgiveness is the emotional side of prosperity. If you're going to write something down, write that down and really think about that. Think about like, oh, what does that mean to me? How do I take that in? How do I process that? And had you ever even thought about that before? Because that is very, very powerful. So if prosperity is not something that's been continuous for you in the way that you want it to be, whether it's mental, physical, financial, or spiritual prosperity, think about this opportunity of forgiveness as the emotional side of prosperity for you. Because many people, no matter what they do, are never permanently prospered and don't realize it because they're holding grudges and negative feeling towards other people without realizing the huge emotional toll it takes on them. And I chose this picture specifically like to wake you up and just think like, have you been this angry beast? It's this angry beast inside of you showing up all of the time. And you're like, you're holding on to this angst or this anger, or this blame, and you're not willing to forgive someone else or yourself. Think about this picture and say to yourself, like, gosh, is this the inner picturing that I want to have for myself? Because the subject of forgiveness can make people uncomfortable because they have a misconception of what the word forgiveness means. And so what happens is the word forgiveness simply means to give up. That's all. It doesn't mean you're giving up on this idea of what you truly want, or you're giving up and, condoning something that happened. It simply means to give up. I'm giving up on this angst that I'm holding on to, this beast that's been feeding my soul and my mind and my thoughts. I'm giving up on that. Forgiveness does not have to be an unpleasant, dramatic outer act in which you say, I'm sorry, when you really aren't. Forgiveness is a pleasant inner act that leaves you feeling at peace with yourself and other people. Forgiveness is a private affair. Think about that. Just say to yourself, like, Forgiveness can be a private affair, something between me and my higher power, whatever that is for you, God, universe, creator, source, Allah, whatever that higher power is to you. When you know that it's between you and that higher power, now it's a very private act, a loving act, a compassionate act. Practicing the daily art of forgiveness can clear your mind and your vibrational energy field that's been blocked for as long as you've been holding on to these feelings of anger and blame because of something that you've experienced, intuited, or were taught at a very early age. Forgiveness releases your good as well as your levels of prosperity when you let go of the negative feelings and emotions you might not even be aware you're holding on to. Manifesting prosperity through a daily practice like the art of forgiveness can be transformational because you may not even be aware of the subconscious beliefs, feelings, and emotions that are slithering around in the recesses of your mind and in and out of your thoughts. As you commit to a daily practice of forgiveness, your negative emotions will begin to dissipate and release you of the prosperity blocks that have been holding you back, that have been blocking what you really want, that have bringing the unwanted into your life instead of the wanted. Create forgiveness affirmations such as all people and experiences that have offended me, whether perceived or real, I now forgive and release. All that has offended me, I forgive within and without. Things past, things present, things future, I forgive them all. I forgive everything and everybody who can possibly need forgiveness in the past or the present. I forgive everything and everybody who could possibly need forgiveness and open the way to prosperity now. Create a forgiveness list for the people and experiences you'd like to forgive, even if your mind is trying to convince you of all the reasons you should not forgive. Just like I was talking about earlier, like when I was, because my definition of was like, well, if I forgive, that means I condone what happened. And our mind can, just bring in these old antiquated beliefs, these outdated beliefs, these limiting beliefs about, but if I forgive, then I'm condoning what happened. And that's not true at all. Remember, forgiveness is an inner act. It's an inner act that brings peace and love into your well-being, into your state of being. So when you're able to create this daily practice for yourself, you are creating a peace within you. Remember, everything is energy, and what you're holding on to emotionally will manifest physically in some way. Forgive yourself for any temptations leading to the belief of lack and limitation in any area of your life. At the end of your list, write down, I fully and freely release you for all the good, for the good of all, and all is cleared up between us now and forever. Then make a separate list for all the people, organizations, or experiencing, asking them to forgive you as well. Because remember, we're part of this equation. It takes two to tango. That's a wonderful saying. So it's really about, what would you like others to forgive you for? And then let it go, release it instead of holding on to it and using it to create doubts about your worth or your worthiness or your value. Ask for the forgiveness and let it go. Declare that they are fully and freely forgiving. They forgive you. And as you both divinely release and accept the healing power of forgiveness, you're putting into the field of possibilities that we talked about last week. You are creating an opportunity for healing all around. Spend some time every day mentally forgiving everyone that you are holding a grudge against, even those people you believe have done you wrong or are currently doing you wrong. Whether these people are past or present family members, business associates, clients, an ex-spouse, an ex-lover, or that kid on the playground who made you miserable in the 3rd grade. Let it go, because everyone has a story. Everyone has a story that they're holding on to about why this was wrong or why this happened. And let it go. Let your story be about who you want to be. Put that into the field of possibilities. Think about, what do you really want in your life? How do you want your life to be? How do you want your life to unfold every day? Do you take time to actually have a practice every single morning about how you want your life to be, how you want the rest of your day to go? Or do you simply like float along like you're being pulled along on the current and you're like, well, I don't have any choice about this, so I've just got to bump along and deal with things as they happen? That's when you're letting your life be out of control instead of taking control of the life that you've been given. Being angry, resentful, or feeling vengeance towards another person is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It's never going to happen. You do not have the power to destroy another person. It's not what someone says to you that matters. It's what you say to yourself when they stop speaking. So if someone is saying something that you find hurtful, well, why are you finding it hurtful? Drinking, drinking poison and expecting someone else to die, it's not going to happen. You're bringing this upon yourself. Any anger, animosity, or vengeance you feel towards another can only be used against yourself. As you spend time in your daily practice of forgiving others, they will respond subconsciously. They may not realize what's going on, but they're going to get this, subconscious, some kind of energy floating to them. And they might even be walking along going, hey, what is this? All of a sudden I'm feeling this something happy. Like, I don't want to feel like that. Because if they want to be miserable, that's their choice. But you're sending them love and light. You're sending them your love and light. And that is very, very powerful. Um, you know, any energy that you're sending out for the divine good of all will always bring healing and prosperity in ways we can't imagine. So just think of yourself as like that, I don't know, good fairy, and you're sending out good vibrations. And think of it that way, because what you send out, you bring back to you. Forgiveness also lets the universe know that you're taking responsibility for your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and whatever karmic repercussions that may have happened because of your actions or the actions of others. Forgive, let it go, release it. During my own healing journey, I realized the first person I needed to forgive was myself. Because as long as I was holding on to those negative feelings and beliefs against someone else, or, something that I felt like, you should not be doing this to me, you should be punished for this. Well, as long as I was holding on to that, there was no way that any healing could take place. It needed to start with me. I realized the hurt, anger, animosity, vengeful feelings, and emotions I was holding on to, they weren't impacting those other people at all. Those people were just going about their day, living their lives like they do day to day, every single minute of every single day. And my being upset, it was not impacting them at all. It was only destroying my love of self. Only then was I able to see the prosperity power associated with the power of forgiveness. My life completely changed when I understood this. Remember, everything is energy. If you're holding tightly to something that's taking up a great deal of your energy field, you don't have room to receive. You are the only one creating your prosperity blocks, and you are the only one who can eliminate these blocks and open the way to more prosperity than you've ever dreamed possible. So if you're holding on to a grudge and it's against someone or unable to forgive them, you're also letting the universe know that you somehow believe you're responsible for that person's karmic journey. Now think about that. Do you really want that responsibility? If you're like me, I'm like, no way. Once I realize this, I'm like, I don't want to be responsible for someone else's healing. That is a huge job. But being the oldest of 5 kids, I always took that responsibility on myself. I mean, where in your life are you holding all of this responsibility? You know, that saying, if it's going to be done right, it's got to be done by me. That came from somewhere. Do you really want to take that on? I don't know. If you're like me, I'm like, no way. Because what you wish for others, you wish for yourself. So if you're unable to forgive the harm that you are, feeling from another person, if you're unable to forgive that, you're wishing that harm on others. And you'll continue to manifest that for yourself. That very same energy that you're sending out is going to come back to you. And it's going to continue to block your own prosperity. Just think about this. This was such a healing opportunity for me. And when I really understood, like, whoa, you mean if I keep wishing this harm on someone else, like, why can't you be punished? Why can't you feel what you've been putting on me? Why can't you? As long as I was wishing that on someone else, it was really me putting that out into the energy field. And that I couldn't understand, like, why does it keep happening to me? Why does it keep coming to me? Understanding energy and how it works really opened my eyes to so much. And that's when I realized, like, oh, if I'm holding this so tightly and not allowing the forgiveness for myself and for others, that I was creating these huge emotional blocks that could not do anything other than block my prosperity. Leave me some comments about this. What are your thoughts? If you've come this far, if you're still with me on this video, what are your thoughts about this? Can you see how the art of forgiveness can open up prosperity for you? And also that forgiveness is the emotional side of prosperity. Remember, everything is energy. Let me know what you're thinking. And again, I will put last week's video towards the end of this video so that you can just get a reminder of that review, because last week's and this week's, they really feed into each other. All of these weekly dojo topics, they feed into each other. They're like one on top of another on top of another. And, if you just keep returning to these and replaying them, you're going to find out that you are creating this tremendous, just tremendous opportunity for more and more knowledge for yourself. And again, remember, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. And if you want any support on any kind of this information, I really love working with people and teaching energy opportunities and how energy works. And remember, this isn't woo-woo. This is scientific. You can go listen to so many science experts who are teaching these laws of physics and laws of metaphysics. So if you're doubtful and you're like, okay, and this is the first time you're hearing about this, you attracted this video for a reason. You're asking the universe for something. You're asking for answers. There's something that you're asking for. You attracted this information, this video, for a reason. So allow yourself to ruminate over it, to say, like, well, gosh, what am I really thinking about this? Do I believe her? Do I think she's all wet? Do I think, she knows what she's talking about? Allow yourself to explore a little more. And if you want to explore more, I invite you to visit my website at masteringyourbeliefs.com. I have plenty of free resources. Check them out. There's also a resource for a workbook to create this daily practice of the art of forgiveness and how you can manifest prosperity with a daily practice of the art of forgiveness. So poke around there, see what calls to you. Schedule a power hour with me. You just never know. And remember, you've been looking for this information, which is why you have attracted it. So love yourself, forgive others. Listen to this video a couple times, rewatch it, replay it, share it, subscribe. Make sure that you get to be part of this journey. These weekly opportunities for topics of conversation. Join us live at the dojo. or watch the videos. I put up a new one every week. We meet every Tuesday, so there's a new video posted every single week. Whatever it is, if you're feeling called to like, something's got to change for me, allow yourself the opportunity to say, what did I just learn now? In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller, the one and only Life Sensei, saying, ciao for now.